I am your host, Christine Marie. Y'all, tonight we are diving into a conversation that we have not talked about before on this show. And just for some context, for those of you who are new to the show, new joining us tonight, I am coming from, yes, the trades perspective. My family has a 100-year-old painting business that I was born into. And I joined as partner in 2021 and got involved actually in a branding and marketing capacity in 2017. And so I've been cutting my teeth, learning the trades in that regard. But I really look at the trades through the lens of how does the customer want to experience you? How do they want to feel? How do they want to engage when somebody is coming into their home? How do they want to do business? Because the trades is also B2B as well as B2C, serving the homeowner. And so I'm looking at it from that lens because I've been in kind of the orchestrator role, moving the pieces of bringing the homeowner, bringing the, end customer to the business, and then also helping the business go to the end customer. So it really is creating the inroads between the relationships being built to ensure that not just are they meeting the customer and the company, but are they meeting in the right moment, at the right place, at the right time, with the right language? How does the handshake take place? It really is effectively the telling of a story and the creation of the story from the moment they meet all the way through the end of the relationship. It's like a good movie. What's the meet cute? For those of you who know that phrase, I first heard it from a movie called The Holiday, where they're talking about the moment in film where a guy meets girl. It's called the meet cute. And the climax is that moment in so many ways. And so we want to give our clients an intentional climactic moment of interacting with them. But if we don't take the time to first understand who they are, where do they spend their time? What do they value? What do they care about? What are their problems to begin with? There's no way we then can meet them in a meaningful way where they really do feel this sense of, wow, I feel so understood. And they have this mini climactic moment of engaging with you for the first time. And we want it to be memorable. We want it to be intentional. And so that's part of what the marketer's job is to create a moment that is both memorable and impactful between the client and the company, whether it's a digital moment or an in-person moment. And both are important. And frankly, both need to be ideally pursued, whether it's setting up and doing trade shows, whether it's going to in-person networking events, whether it's setting up lunch and learns so that we can have referral partnerships set up. We've been talking about that over the last few days, or digital. And that's not just by way of what's on your website, what do your ads look like, but what does your LinkedIn profile look like? What does your Facebook sound like? Who are you? How are you presenting yourself to the rest of the world? And this isn't just for the owner. It's not just for the operator. It's for the salesman, even the production team. Because here's the thing, people are watching. Potential employees for your company are watching. Potential customers for your company are watching. They're listening. They're hearing how you're talking about the business, how you're representing the business. Y'all, more and more people are putting dollars behind the leaders' brands of their company than the company brand itself. One of the best examples for this was actually one of our clients at the time was working closely with Amazon. And so we did a campaign where we had the choice to post from Amazon's brand perspective on social media, or the executives at Amazon, their perspective on social media. We did both as a test, but really invested hard into the executive brands. And man, people ate it up. People want to do business with people. They want to hear from you. They want to hear from a real person. So this question of why should contractors use ChatGPT? Because it is so much work to sit down and create content when we are starting from scratch. Yesterday, we talked about basically a formula that you can put into place when it comes to creating content for social. Effectively, start with your values. What are your values? What's the why, and how is it tied to an experience? Because think of it as the tip of the iceberg is the value that you say, yeah, I really care about integrity. The why is the through line all the way down into the depths of the water beneath to the hidden massive iceberg of the experience that happened in any moment of your and I's life, my life, whether we were 6 years old, 16 years old, 26 years old. We had a formative moment that then turned into a value. And so that experience, when we really lean into it and explore it, that isolated solo experience that we had turns into an interpersonal story that then allows for us to connect with somebody else, where other people are like, oh, wow, I actually know what you mean. I had a similar experience. Let me share my story. And so now it's a story. Now it's an exchange. Now it's a moment of, I get to effectively hand you something and you get to engage in something with me. No longer is it my isolated personal experience, but rather now it's a shared story for the purpose of connection. And that, when turned into a social post, that makes leaps and bounds beyond, hey, I'm here on a job site today. Happy Tuesday. Having an experience turned into a story, turned into a post, that is the type of magic that will make you stand out. You, the proverbial you, your coworkers, your employees, your brand also. Your brand can also take this type of storytelling approach rooted in the people that are on the team. But the more that we as a company are investing in our people to ensure that we're helping them tell their stories based on their experiences with the company. Why do you value working here? Is there something back in your family history that made you want to be here today? I was actually I've got this business card here. Thomasville Restoration. My dad and I co-hosted a lunch a couple weeks ago, and we had the CEO of Thomasville attend. And come to find out, there was a potential opportunity for us to do a lunch and learn there and potentially be a sub for this company. And so we went over and we're chatting with them, and I was sitting there watching this video about the company. And I watched this man. He's one of the lead or head project managers there. Now, he's the same man that I had just met, who's this tall, very handsome, like fills up the space man. And I watched him in the video, and this was about 2 years prior, and he looked and sounded completely different. And I realized that the man he is today is so much that way because of the CEO and founder of the business, because of the culture that they've implemented there, the quality of excellence, the quality of how they show up, even just physically. They have a gym at the office. They also bring in a therapist and a pastor from the local church. They care mind, body, soul, spirit. And so when you have that kind of values shaping the company, the experience on the individual level is going to be so cultivated and so maturated as a result of the values that then you cannot help but get stories from that. And those are the stories that attract customers, that attract employees to you. And those are the types of stories that need to be told, both from the brand perspective and from the employee perspective. So when it comes to ChatGPT, y'all, this is one of the easiest tools for us to employ to translate stories into posts. And so one of my favorite ways to do this is I have it downloaded as an app on my phone. It's so incredibly easy to use. And I just want to talk through some very simple first steps of how to use this. So for those of you who already have ChatGPT, have used it consistently, feel free to hop off now. What I'm going to go through is actually tools and tactics that I've implemented for different folks that I've taught how to open a ChatGPT account, put your first initial prompts in, and then move forward to start really being able to create prompts. It's so much easier if I can, if we can share screens, but I'm going to talk through this. So First things first, ChatGPT is going to ask you for your email. And really, you can type into Google search bar ChatGPT and then it will take you there. There's a different domain, but you can just type in ChatGPT and it'll just take you and you'll be good. You'll put in your email. You'll go to your email inbox, take the code, put it in, and you're good to go. You can use the free version. I honestly like paying $20. It's cheap enough for me where it doesn't cost me too much, but I really like having that professional version because for the free version, use that first just to see if you like it. But at some point, you may want to upgrade because you are limited to the amount of prompts and responses you can give and receive on the free version. So from there, the way that I start out, and this is honestly the very simplistic. I'm sure that there are highly sophisticated prompts that you can put in, but frankly, I think it's too hard to start that way. So this is how I start. I say, hi, my name is Christine Marie. I am one of 6 kids. My parents are still married, and my dad is the 3rd generation of a 100-year-old family painting business that was started in 1922 by my great-grandfather. I am the 4th generation. My brother and I came on as partners in 2021. I would love for you to help me create content for LinkedIn. Now, I want the content to create an experience. This is really important. So, first, I introduce myself. Then I say, I want the content to create an experience that makes people feel value, that they're getting real information that they can take to their business, to their job site, and to their family. Those are the 3 areas of impact that I want to make. Their job site, their business, their family, and really, I guess, job site and business are kind of one of the same. So I would say their family, their business, and themselves personally. So those 3 areas: themselves, their family, their business. And I really want to deliver value on those 3 levels. And I want to create that kind of experience. I want them to feel value. And frankly, I would love to know from you, ChatGPT, what do you need to know about me in order for us to do this together? And this is where it's really, really important. Introduce yourself, tell ChatGPT how you want to use it, what the experience is that you want to create, how you want people to feel, and then ask it, what do you need to know about me in order to help me do this? And then it's going to give you a litany of questions. And then take the time, please take the time to answer those questions. Because in answering those questions, you're training this robot to help you. And this bot is so, 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 so smart. And over time, it'll start really understanding your voice and your cadence. And usually those initial questions will ask about tone of voice. Usually on the second or third response, I'll give it the company website of my family painting business or even Foundation First Marketing. We provide marketing services for folks in the trades. And so I'll feed it these different pieces of information. Just going to jump here in the chat. Hello, Explorer, Brian. Good to see you guys. Brian, you're the best. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you. In Explorer, I actually did not get the family business from inheritance. My dad is still alive and well and running the business, and I'm helping him. So I'm 4th generation. Brian says, what frustrates our customers the most? Honestly, what I've experienced, and I'd be curious to hear other folks' input here, what frustrates customers more than anything is lack of communication. In fact, that was the number 1 differentiator when I, in 2017, was creating the website for my family. Whenever I do any kind of website build or design build, we'll go in and talk to customers and really understand, what do you value about the business? How do you perceive the business? And then I'll talk to the business owners and the employees there and really understand, who are you? Because until we understand our own internal brand identity, there's no way we can create any kind of external brand identity, especially one that connects. Yeah, communication was the number 1 thing that customers touted my dad for and said that this is why we love George, is because he's so thorough in his communication. And even our employees said the same thing. So it was really remarkable that it's both the highest point of praise and the easiest and quickest way to lose even work. One of our clients in the past, I I just wanted to check every point of the customer journey, not just the leads coming in, but all the way down to leads lost and customers lost. So I had them look at data and pull how much out of all the jobs we won, what percentage of the jobs won were canceled that we had to refund the customers. It is way easier to keep a job than to get a brand new lead in through the door. So let's just keep our work. We lost 11% of all paid jobs. And that to me was a big red flag. And we dove into it. And some of these customers didn't hear from the company in weeks, some of them months. Communication is a really, really easy thing to fix. And frankly, we might even dive into that over the next couple of days. But yeah, the number one pain point. So, y'all, I promise these shows would not go over 15 minutes. I'm at 15.